Another Inman article. These 10 housing markets are poised for serious trouble. A new study by Go Banking Rates looks at the top U.S. cities most likely to see a poor housing market in the near future.
Is this because of COVID or just in general?
Yeah, so as the coronavirus pandemic drags on, different parts of the country are feeling the brunt of the shutdowns and economic disruptions very differently. Like for us in the rural part, the shoreline part of Connecticut, we've kind of won, right? There's been a lot of buyers over here.
For right now, we've won.
For right now.
We're winning right now.
Some suburban enclaves are seeing sky-high demand, so suburban and even urban, rural, which we've talked about at length here on the show. They're seeing high demand, while others have seen home values drop dramatically just a few months into the pandemic. The new study by Go Banking Rate looks at the top 50 American cities most likely to see a poor housing market in the near future. We're going to talk about the top 10 here. So there's some small cities with long struggling economies, while other affluent California enclaves that saw record high home values spike over the last decade are now feeling the crash of such unparalleled growth. A lot of California in this top 10.
Well, I mean,
not surprising
no,
either.
not at all. I mean, that was a whole bubble already.
Jackson, Mississippi is one. Longview, Texas. The reason why this is interesting to us is there's a Connecticut city on this top 10 list. Longview, Texas, Redwood City, California, San Mateo, California, Fremont, California, Loretto, Texas, Santa Rosa, California, Lake Charles, Louisiana. They got problems right now with the storm. So
Man, that whole South is getting slammed though.
Stamford, Connecticut, and Albany, Georgia. So 4 of the top 10 were California. Stamford, Connecticut, which particularly is interesting to us, while home to a number of high-paid tech professionals, the Connecticut city of Stamford regularly makes a list of cities with a poor economic outlook due to a housing market disproportionate with the entire population. At $579,000 home prices average, they're down almost 1% from last year and 1.18% from a year ago. One in every 5,200 homes
we're talking about $7,000 off of what your house was worth over 24 months ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting.
That is very interesting. And so this is who they use this Go Banking Rate study. It's a Veronica.
Ooh, do it.
Bondarenko article here on Inman. You know what's more interesting than this, Nicole, is we'll also post this, is a Market Watch article. Opinion: the COVID-19 lockdown is squeezing real estate from all sides and threatens to burst the housing and mortgage bubble. So this one talks about...
Are you feeling like we're in a bubble?
Well, when you start reading this article,
Yeah.
you might get convinced that we are. Here's why.
Because of our percentage of growth in the short amount of time?
Well, there's this huge growth and median home values, certainly in our market, have gone up.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime it goes over 5%.
Yeah, and we're talking over 12 in a short period of time. So,
but it's interesting because I do feel like we've had this discussion. Like the interest rates are so much lower where it's like...
So interest rates are low, home values are skyrocketing, but, and we talked about this recently, delinquency rate for FHA insured homes, the total USA, 17%. So this is not people in forbearance. These are people delinquent.
I read an article. I was actually going to send it to you. They said there's 1 million delinquent homeowners that are not in forbearance.
They're not even in forbearance.
They haven't even gone to their mortgage company. Maybe they're worried. Maybe they're scared.
Right.
Maybe they don't want to go into forbearance because they haven't been properly educated.
Think they can. They don't even know about it. And if you call the bank, by the way, the bank will tell you it's not an option. You have to know your rights. You have to really be savvy about getting the forbearance.
Well, and what's interesting too is that this is all over. Like the first round is up and expiring in October.
Yeah, so this is why they think this thing's about to burst, because the total U.S. has for FHA insured homes, FHA mortgages, 17% delinquent rate, almost 1 out of 5.
So you think they're going to start selling?
New York City, 27.2, more than 1 out of 4 FHA properties in New York City are delinquent, Nicole. Delinquent. Miami, 24.4%. So that's 1 out of 4. Fort Lauderdale, 1 out of 4. New Orleans, basically 1 out of 4. DC, 22%. Chicago, 22%. Houston, 21.6%. Atlanta, 21%. Philly, 20%. Long Island, 27.8%. Top in the list.
That? DC, New Jersey. was more than 40%. So you think those people are doing because they can't afford it, or because they think they're able to?
I think if you're delinquent right now, you can't make your payments.
Well, you would hope.
Because a lot of these people with the median home values rising, like we've talked about, actually have equity, and yet they're still delinquent on their home. Here's the problem. You would say, well, why don't you just sell and get your equity? Well, where do you go in this market?
Where are you going to go?
Where are you going to go?
Now your credit is shot because you can't get a rent.
Can't get a rental, you're stuck. And so they're just like, you know what? I'll wait out the year, see if anything changes for me, kind of rolling the dice.
Right.
And then if this year ends and the dice don't land on Yahtzee, would it be Yahtzee? Would it be CeeLo? CeeLo, you ever play CeeLo? Sam knows CeeLo.
CeeLo? Isn't that a singer?
No, could be. If it doesn't land good for you, then now you're out of a job. You're going to be out of your house soon, and you're going to see a lot of foreclosures potentially.
Well, I mean, that was obvious.
2021.
Potentially. I still don't think that 2021 is going to be the year. I think that we're in this for a whole nother potentially, 9 to 12 months, I think.
In what?
In the life that we're living currently.
Yeah, but eventually they cannot extend.
Maybe not.
These types of foreclosure.
They are, though.
Till January 1, the foreclosures open back up.
Well, I
they're going to extend again?
Yes.
Here we go. Oh, my goodness.
You don't think they are?
That's a whole nother can of worms.
If the government is telling you that you can't go and work and produce income, then there has to be something on the other end.
I get it. My point is you cannot continue. Eventually.
You shouldn't continue.
The
word is shouldn't. We shouldn't continue. But what are they? What's the other? Well,
there's another quote here, and it's somewhere in this. Here it is. Sooner or later, homeowners in this frothy U.S. housing market must pay the piper.
Absolutely.
So if you want to say, okay, extend another 6 months, these foreclosures.
I'm not saying that I want to.
Then it's 2022. We're going to pay the piper. We're going to pay the piper.
Yes, yeah. I'm not saying that we're not. I just don't think it's going to be next year.
Here's the point, and I don't know anything. Really outside of maybe a little bit in Stanford, which isn't even our market in Connecticut, but on these 10 specific markets, here's the reminder on this conversation. Real estate is very local. Okay. So understanding your market as a real estate professional better than anybody is going to put you in the position to actually educate your clients on what's happening in your market, because what's happening in San Mateo isn't necessarily what's going to happen here in Connecticut on the shoreline. And we didn't have a decade of spikes here. So we
never did.
We may be good. We may not be. Continuing every single week to look at the data. Our MLS does a great job with a app called InfoSparks. There's a lot of graphs, and you can really dissect what's happening in your individual market. I'd encourage everybody, now more than ever, every single week, get your fingers dirty on the data of what's actually happening in your local market. It's a local business.
Absolutely.